bound book. The second I saw the pentagram on the cover, my stomach turned.
The book.
My parents are Catholic, but my heart dropped as I heard from him and Clayton's ex that he held a knife at his ex-girlfriend's throat and sexually assaulted her. What? He was a psycho.
What's good? My name is ReboundLeader. Welcome back with another video for today. Guys, we're gonna be reacting to 3 disturbing true scary stories by Mr. Nightmare. Back at it, you feel me? I was working, so I just couldn't do it last time, but you know what I'm saying, I'm off until tomorrow anyways. But yeah, let's get right to it. True scary stories, a series for a long time where messed up things happen in people's lives. Like we showing a movie theater. What the heck is happening here? Oh heck no.
Back with another milk. Help! Help!
We moved into my grandparents' house in 2016 when they decided to downsize. I was 9. They had built the place in the early 90s, and it sits on 5 acres out on the outskirts of a small southern town.
Oh, that's
Woods
fire.
and open fields stretch around it, and a slow, muddy river winds past our southern fence line.
Never
On
mind.
2 sides, our property touches our only neighbor's land, an odd, crooked patch of acreage with a house that felt like it was sinking into the ground. That house was old. The original farmhouse had been built in the 1920s, and over the years, it had been added onto in all the wrong ways, like someone stapled extra rooms together without a plan. The siding was discolored and soft looking. Every time you glanced at it, it just looked wet, even on dry days.
Bro, is his editing like improving or something? Or like, is he doing some new thing? What's going on here?
The yard was a nightmare. Overgrown bushes tangled with vines, broken fountains surrounded by weeds, gnomes missing heads, and old trash that looked like it had been there for years. Grocery bags flapped in the tree branches. A rusted lawnmower sat in the middle of the grass like it had died mid-job and was never moved.
Oh man.
It was the place that made you want to hold your breath when you walked by. At the time, the house was home to 2 elderly sisters, Violet and Agnes, and 3 kids. Violet was the quieter of the 2, always sitting on the porch in a faded green rocking chair, just watching the trees. Agnes was sharper and more active, but she still moved like her bones hurt. Both women were in their 70s at least. The kids were their grandchildren. The boy, Liam, was my age and in my grade at school. The other 2 were girls named Allison and Kelsey. They were the same age as my younger sister. Liam was weird. I didn't like him, and I didn't want to hang out with him. But we were in the same class, so we got lumped together a lot. He took that as permission to just show up at my house whenever he wanted. No knocking or texting. I'd be playing a game in my room and turn around, and he'd just be there.
Oh,
One
that's
time,
crazy.
I looked out my window and saw him doing cannonballs in our pool. Another time, he walked straight into the kitchen, opened our fridge, and started eating a slice of leftover pizza with his hands like it was...
Bro, this kid seems like he just wants to join the family. You feel me? Like, what's going on with yours? What's with this kid? Where's his family at? Yeah, he seems lonely, bro, but you gotta be careful.
No big deal. When we hung out, he wasn't fun. He was obsessed with anime, like really obsessed, but I didn't watch any, so I had no idea what he was talking about. He'd say weird lines in Japanese and get mad when I didn't laugh. Sometimes he'd get this look in his eyes, like he was imagining something violent.
Oh, heck.
One time he chased me with a pair of sharp garden shears, swinging them around and laughing like it was a game.
Oh,
Another time we were on an old wooden bridge that crosses the creek near the back of our properties.
Get away from this kid.
He tried to push me in. He claimed it was a joke, but the way he smiled after, I knew he meant it.
That's a joke?
The twins were different. Quiet and almost invisible. Their clothes were always dirty, and they had speech impediments that made it hard to understand them. It was obvious nobody at home was helping them. Their voices were garbled, like they were still toddlers, even though they were 7. They flinched easily, and they always looked hungry. Their dad was in and out of jail, so he wasn't around, and that brings us to the mom, Teresa. The first time I saw her, she was trying to hook a hose up to the spigot at the edge of their property, right near our side yard. She was tall, way taller than anyone else in her family, and heavy set, with long, thick, curly black hair and glasses that looked like they belonged in the 80s. She was different, put together in a way that the rest of the family wasn't. Her clothes were clean. Her hair was always styled, too. She smiled at me like she'd been waiting for me to come over. She asked me if I could help her with the faucet and said it was stuck. I walked over and turned it, and it moved easily.
Yeah.
She gasped and clapped her hands, told me I was so strong and how lucky she was I came over.
What the
I
heck?
felt proud. She made me feel like I was something special.
Nah,
And she said,
playing.
"Did you know you have a third eye?" I blinked. What?
What?
She smiled wider and said,
Oh, no. She's with this modern day spirituality foolery. She's with the modern day spirituality nonsense, bro. She be having stones all over her house, bro. The evil eye all around her house, sages, everything. Thinking that she's safe. She's one of those people that be saying, I have the evil eye to protect me from evil, while that literally brings more evil. Foolishness, bro. Bro, God does not like when you play with these type of spiritual, evil, wicked spirits, bro. Stay away from them.
"We all have one. Not a physical eye, but a spiritual one."
No,
She said it lets you see the truth, whatever
Nope.
that meant.
it's the
Before I
lie.
could ask anything,
The
she started
devil
walking
is a
back toward her
lie.
house and told me to come with her. So I did.
No, don't do
The
it.
inside of their house hit me like a wave of rot. It smelled like spoiled food, mildew, and something worse I couldn't
Oh,
place.
what?
Trash
No.
was everywhere. Garbage bags torn open, rotting food
What
on
the
plates,
heck?
stained furniture, even dirty diapers were stuffed behind the couch.
What? Yo, who is this female? This is a witch. Run.
I tried to leave, but Teresa grabbed my wrist and led me upstairs.
Oh my
Her room
GGs.
was nothing like the rest of the house. It was pristine, with pink wallpaper, clean carpet, shelves full of porcelain dolls, and
Yeah,
very
she's a
ornate
witch,
old
bro.
furniture.
This is
The air
weird.
smelled like rosewater and old perfume.
That's
It was
crazy.
like I stepped into a different building. She gestured for me to sit on a little cushioned stool in the corner, and then walked over to her vanity and opened a drawer. She pulled out a silver tray with a black candle, a crystal, and a thick, leather-bound book. The second I saw the pentagram
The
on
Book
the
of
cover,
Witches.
my stomach turned.
The book.
My
of-
parents
Whoa!
are Catholic. I knew what that symbol meant.
Nah, that's the devil. Bro, nah, bro. Get the heck, run. And you're a Catholic too? Oh man. The Holy Spirit didn't tell you to leave? The Holy Spirit didn't tell you to exit the premise?
Love of God! For the love of God!
To flee? Nah, come on, bro. That's crazy. You know what you gotta do now? Run.
And suddenly, I started seeing it everywhere.
Yep.
On the jewelry box, on the mirror's frame, and peeking out from under the corner of the rug on the floor, etched into the wood. I jumped up. "Sorry, my mom wants me home. Bye." I didn't wait for a response.
Run,
I
run.
ran. In
Good.
2019, Agnes had a heart attack and died inside the house. I
Wow.
heard she collapsed in the living room in front of all of the kids. I went to the funeral. It
That's
was in this
crazy.
rundown Baptist church on the edge of town. The family was stone-faced, like they didn't know how to react, except for one woman who I'd never seen before. She sat in the second pew, sobbing so loud it echoed. Nobody acknowledged her. That same year, Liam disappeared. The story was that he tried to kill one of the twins and was sent to a psychiatric facility.
What
I
is
never
this
got the full
family?
details, but my parents sat my sister and I down that night and said, in no uncertain terms, we were never to go near that family again. I
Yeah.
remember their faces, grim and serious.
Yeah.
That's when it all clicked. All the little things I hadn't understood. The weird stuff, the fear. Eventually, the rest of the family moved away. They left Violet behind, just an old, frail woman living alone in that collapsing house.
Oh, that's crazy.
She passed
That's
away in
sad.
2020, alone, in that house.
Sad. That's
Her
sad.
estate went up for auction. A few months later, one of my old elementary school teachers, Mrs. S., bought it with her husband. They tore down most of the structure, but kept the original 1920 section, the same part where Teresa's room had been. Mrs. S. invited us over to see the renovations. It was beautiful. Open floor plan, all new appliances, and fresh paint. She showed us upstairs.
Doesn't matter how good it looks, bro. It's in a clucked up area. GG.
And that's when my skin started crawling. We were in her room, and I could feel it. Even though the floors were carpeted now,
Still
I knew the
demonic.
pentagram was still there, like the floor remembered. I felt nauseous, like something was watching me from the walls. I told Mrs. S. I had a headache and had to go. She was disappointed. I was supposed to stay for dinner. I avoided the house after that, until last year. Mrs. S. asked me to dog sit while they went out of town for a week.
Oh, no.
I said yes.
No.
Figured it was just a job.
No.
Easy money. Every night I'd ring the doorbell and they'd buzz me in through the smart lock. Their dogs, a Shih Tzu named Muffin and a snorting little pug named Henry, would greet me tails wagging.
Aren't you still Catholic, bro? Where is your Bible? Where is your Bible? You didn't bring none of that with you on this adventure? Come on, bro. You didn't pray? It's crazy.
The first 4 nights were quiet, peaceful.
Man said, I'll wing it.
I'd feed the dogs, play with them a bit,
Man said,
turn
it's
on
no
the porch
big deal.
light, and lock up. But on the last night, I was about to leave when Henry started barking at the staircase. He planted his little legs and just barked over and over. Muffin backed away, whimpering. There was nothing there.
Yep.
And then thump. It came from upstairs. Another thump, louder this time.
No.
I didn't stay to investigate.
I
ran to the front door, slammed it behind me, and locked it.
That's
the whole
crazy.
walk home, I couldn't shake the feeling something had followed me.
That's crazy.
Now it's 2025. We hadn't heard a word about the family in over 4 years.
Wow. You just left the place? You ever heard from the family before? They're cooked. They're done. They are being harassed by that evil sage witch that died. That's crazy.
That is, until recently.
Oh, what?
A girl
What
from
happened?
school told me she saw Teresa at a farmer's market in a nearby town. Apparently, she started some kind of religious group, calls herself a truth seer. They live in a mobile home community far out in the woods. Flyers have started popping up on bulletin boards and telephone poles. I don't trust it. I don't trust her. I think Teresa is truly evil. I mean, she neglected her kids. She left her mother in that house to rot. And I think she brought something into it. Something dark. Something that stayed behind.
Evil
I
spirit.
still have nightmares of her and Liam. They stand at the foot of my bed, staring at me, not
That's
speaking
crazy.
at all.
That's
Every time I
crazy.
pass by that house, even now, I get chills.
You need to rebuke every spirit in the name of Jesus, bro. You need to call your pastor, your priest, your spiritual father, whoever the heck. You say you're a Catholic, bro. Tell your brothers. Tell your sisters this is what happened to me. This is how I'm feeling now. We need to do something. Something's up. What the heck are you keeping it to yourself for?
The good parts, such as the paint, the furniture, it's all surface level. That place remembers, and I don't think it ever let go of what happened there.
Yeah, bro. That's crazy. That's a crazy story. I pray for that guy.
My name is Keegan. I reside in Michigan with my parents. High school was a decent timeline for me, as I had gotten to meet various new people during my time there. Obviously, I also had some people I tended to hang out with outside of school. The only time I really hung out with them was at places like my local community center, where we would work out and play basketball. Back in freshman year, it was getting close to the end of the year, and I was excited for summer break to be coming. I would be starting driver's training, and even start doing a side job to at least begin making money, so I didn't have the fastest start. I had this one friend named Clayton. I would usually hang out with him at least once a week. He was a grade lower than me, his final year of junior high. We were to some extent good friends, and my dad and I even took him to a Detroit Pistons basketball game at one point. He was quite a big basketball fan, so he was more than eager to attend his first game. Despite all the fun activities in the past, it was until I started becoming more busy that he was somewhat beginning to change. He would usually get a bit sad or angry because I'm not free on a specific day. He was the kind of person to have some pretty intense anger issues when he got pissed off enough. I remember this one day when I told him I wasn't free again and that I would be home cleaning. It seemed as if he would find the right days where I'm not available to hang out. I didn't check my phone until after I finished cleaning, and I found out that he removed me on Snapchat.
Wow.
I messaged him on Messenger, asking why he got so mad and why he decided to remove me as a friend. He assumed I was lying to avoid hanging out with him. That thought crossed my mind for a while, and I even followed up with it at times because he was starting to become more obnoxious. On occasion, I would lie and say I'm doing something, going somewhere, or already made plans with another friend. He felt so left out that one day, when the sun had set, he showed up to my apartment I was living in at the time unannounced. I asked him why he didn't text me ahead of time. Nothing. He just stared at me for a few seconds before walking away slowly.
What the heck? Oh yeah, your friend turned psycho, bro. Imagine that. You're literally in one of these apartments right here. You're in one of these apartments, and then your friend is outside, and you're like, yo, bro, you didn't text me before you came here? And he's staring like this. And then he just walks off. You need to lock everything in your crib, bro. Oh my goodness. He's turned psycho right now. The next time you see him may be your last.
Why was he here at this hour? Why didn't he say anything? Why did he just give me this 1,000-yard stare as if I did something to offend him?
That's crazy.
I hadn't spoken to him the next day. That's also when I turned off my Snap Map on Snapchat to hide my location from him.
You should
after
already
he
have
apparently
that
added
off.
me back.
That's crazy.
Some time had gone by, about a month, and he's still the same person, angry or sad when I can't pay him a visit. That's when I got a text from my friend, Nick, who I barely saw in person. He knows Clayton and his ex-girlfriend. Nick had told me some gruesome things about him and what he's done, but my heart dropped as I heard from him and Clayton's ex that he held a knife at his ex-girlfriend's throat and sexually assaulted her. I knew he was a psycho right then and there.
What?
I removed him as a friend on all platforms without any hesitation. He texted me on Instagram before I removed him on there too. He blew up my
Why is he not in jail? Why is he still out there and about, roaming around, causing havoc like the illegal immigrants in America?
with messages asking why I'm removing him. I just told him I needed some time to myself and I would add him back when I'm better, but I used that as an excuse to get away from him. That night, while I was home alone since my parents went to the next town over for dinner with some old friends of theirs, I heard a knock at my apartment door.
Wow.
I looked out of the peephole and no one was there. I opened the door a crack to survey the hallway.
Why would you
no
do
one.
that?
I
Why
figured
would
it
you
was
do
someone
that?
ding-dong ditching. I figured they wouldn't come back. But when I randomly looked out my bedroom window, the light was burned out by the sidewalk. I noticed a small flash in the corner of my eye, and I thought it was from inside someone's car. But
Yo.
I felt my stomach drop when I saw a tall figure standing in front of my window. It was
Whoa!
him. I opened my window and told him to go away, and that I don't want him here. He told me to let him in so he could tell me something.
What?
I firmly said no and told him I wanted
Heck
gone.
no.
But when he began to move around a bit, I noticed something was in his hand.
Uh-oh.
I couldn't exactly make out what he was holding.
Uh-oh. Yeah. He's basically going to finish the job. He is about to finish the job on you. Like, this is your friend, bro. How did you not know your friend was this psychotic, bro? Oh man. You always said he had anger issues. Oh yeah. But you still hanged with this man.
Holding until he held it up. And when I tell you I was frightened, I felt as if I was going to pass out. Because I shit you not, Clayton was holding a knife in his hand. I told him I was calling the police, but he had already taken off by the time the police had gotten there.
Crazy.
I gave the best description of him that I could describe to the cops. I haven't heard a word about or from him since that horrific night.
Really?
I honestly wouldn't be so surprised if you were trying to kill me while I was home alone. I believe he had murderous intentions. I assumed he probably ended up in juvie after what happened. Not only was I horrified from that experience, but it may have been one of the most traumatic moments of my life. Having your parents gone along with it makes it feel undeniably more unsettling.
Yeah.
I'm glad I disconnected all contact from him when I did, because I think if I continued to remain friends with him, I probably could have ended up as one of his endless punching bags, or even worse, dead.
Yup. You would have been bodied. So easily, bro.
This happened in late 2022, when I went on what I thought would be a fun and simple first date with someone I matched with on a dating app. Her name was Emily, and we had been texting for about 2 weeks before deciding to meet up. We both shared a love for horror movies, and when Smile came out, we agreed that seeing it together would be the perfect first date.
Oh, come on, bro. The perfect first date is you watching a horror movie called Smile? Alright, bro. I don't know about that one. I don't know about that one. But maybe she's as psychotic as the female in the movie.
We picked a weekday night, Thursday. It was a late showing, 10:15 p.m., and at a small, older theater just outside of town. I offered to drive and picked her up around 9:30. She seemed normal, friendly, maybe a little shy. She was quiet for most of the drive, but opened up once we started talking about horror movies we liked growing up. When we got there, the parking lot was almost empty. I joked about how this theater looked like something out of a horror movie itself. Dim lights, flickering neon, and not a single person in the lobby when we walked in. There was only one guy working at the concession counter, and when I asked if it was going to be a full theater, he laughed and said we were the only ones who had bought tickets for that showing.
Oh, wow.
At first, I thought that was great. No crowds. Just me, her, and the movie. We went into Theater 6 and chose seats right in the center, about 4 rows from the back.
Here we go.
It was freezing in there, which Emily pointed out right away. I offered her my hoodie, and we laughed about how creepy it felt being the only ones in the entire room. We sat back and talked while waiting for the previews to start. I was starting to feel a little chemistry between us, and I figured this would be one of those dates where you actually end up seeing the person again. Then, right before the movie started, like right after the last trailer and just as the lights dimmed lower, I noticed movement from the corner of my eye. Someone walked into the theater. They didn't say anything or stop to look around or check their phone for seat numbers like most people do. They walked in slow, straight up the steps and sat directly behind us.
The frick? What? Oh, that's weird. Bro, why are you walking directly behind me? Why are you seated directly behind me while there's a ton of seats, bro? It's like when you're in the washroom, you're taking a piss. You have to be right beside my stall while there's so many other places. Come on, bro. Get out of here.
There were maybe 100 open seats, but he chose the one right behind me.
That's crazy.
Emily turned to look at him too, and she gave me a weird glance like, really? I kind of chuckled and said under my breath, figures. But right away, something felt off.
Yeah.
You know that feeling when someone's eyes are burning into the back of your head? That's what it felt like. I glanced back after a minute or two. He wasn't watching the screen. He was staring at us.
Of course he was staring at you guys. He wants some of you and your girl and your date, bro. It's not even your girl yet. He wants some of y'all, bro. He wants both of y'all. This is crazy. This is nuts.
Split second, but he didn't flinch or look away. He didn't even pretend to be interested in the movie.
Wow.
He was just sitting forward a bit, like someone might do if they were really into a scene, but his face wasn't even turned toward the screen. It was angled right at us.
Uh-oh.
At me. I whispered to Emily, he's just staring. She nodded slowly and whispered back, I know. We tried to ignore it for a while. The movie started, and I really did try to get into it, but every few minutes, I'd feel it again. The presence behind us. Not just someone being annoying.
Bro, I'm surprised y'all are still there. I'll be like, Emily, let's go. Some random dude is behind us just staring at us. Why the heck are we watching this movie? Let's just go somewhere else. You know, it's late. Let's grab some some Uber Eats, some DoorDash. Let's just talk about what the heck just happened and go from there.
Difference.
Like, what the heck?
There was
I'm
an
not watching
intensity
the movie
to
no more.
it. Like he was waiting for something. After about 20 minutes, I leaned forward in my seat and turned my head a little so I could glance back more casually. Same thing. He was still staring.
Of course.
He was middle-aged, maybe late 40s. He was clean-shaven, kind of pale, wearing a dark gray hoodie. Something about him just looked empty, like he wasn't even there mentally. His eyes didn't look glazed over like
he's
someone
mentally
who was zoning
ill.
out. From what I
the
saw,
heck?
he never blinked. I turned back around and whispered to Emily, this guy is really creeping me out.
Let's go.
She looked genuinely scared now.
Let's
Do you want to
go.
move? We considered it, but where would we go? It would still be in the...
Out of the movie theater.
Woo!
What the heck are y'all doing? You're the man. It doesn't matter if she is your date. You're still the man, still there with her. Your number one objective is to protect her at all costs. And you're allowing this creepy whatever man to stare at your date. It's either you do two things. You confront the man or you say, let's leave. Bro, this is me in this situation. It's like, Emily, like, you know, this dude's still staring at us. And she'd be like, yeah, I know. It's like, let's get the heck out of here. Let's go. We'll get some food. And she'll be like, okay. She will follow your lead, bro. Ain't no denying it. She will follow your lead with haste. She will submit to you fully because she believes that you will protect her. But you're still out here watching a movie and making certain glances. You're like, oh man, Yeah, he's still staring at us. Like, what the heck are you doing? Get out there. Leave the movie theater.
Same room, and we were already in the best seats. Moving might make it awkward or even provoke him. A
Leave.
few minutes later, I felt something.
What?
The guy breathed on me. Not loud or exaggerated. It was soft, but unmistakable.
You kidding me? Oh man, that would piss me the frick off. I'm sorry for pausing it, guys. My apologies. I'm not sorry. Breathe on me? Oh man, that sets me off. I don't like that. I don't like when people breathe on my neck, bro. Like, I have that happen a couple times, bro. It pisses me off. Obviously, I will stay calm, but it will piss me the frick off, bro. Don't breathe on me, you animal. What's wrong with you? Oh, nah. No. It's more like you breathe on me and you do a smacking the heck out of you. And then I'm taking my girl, my date, and we're leaving the premise.
Slow exhale right behind my seat. I spun around, and he was leaning forward over the back of my seat, his face
Crazy.
closer than it should have been.
Crazy.
I stared at him and said, "Dude, can you not?" He didn't respond. He just slowly leaned back in his seat. That was it. I told Emily, let's move.
No,
We got
let's
up
go.
and walked down to the front corner row. It sucked, and the angle was bad, but we needed distance.
What?
I could barely focus on the movie anymore. Just
Y'all
kept
are
glancing
crazy.
back every couple of minutes. And every time I looked back there, he was staring straight at us. He didn't budge. Around halfway through the movie, we heard footsteps. He was coming down the steps. Emily grabbed my arm, and we both held still. The footsteps stopped a few rows above us. We didn't turn around.
Guys, don't be like this man. I beg of you, please do not be like this man. Do not be like this individual. For all my young men out there, for all my future men out there, for all my God-fearing men out there, listen closely. Use your common sense. If you're with a girl and you think she's, all that, if there's a girl by your side and you're hanging out, it is your obligation, your duty to protect her at all cost. Why the heck are you still deciding, should we move to another seat? No, let's move the heck out of this movie theater. What the heck are you doing? Leave. Buy some food, talk it out. You know what I'm saying? That's more romantic because she sees like, wow, this dude really is decisive. Like, he doesn't play games. Like, he really knows what he wants. He wants to protect me. That's how, wow, I think he actually loves me like that. I think he actually is strong like that. That's a masculine behavior. That's a masculine role. When a woman sees that you can protect her, bro, she will submit to you every which way possible. Emily would have been like, hey, I'm making some brownies. Do you want to join? Hey, I'm making some brownies. I want you to taste some. She will go above and beyond, but no, you're still doing this foolery. So whatever happens, it's on you.
I don't know how long he stood there. I didn't dare look. Then, finally, he walked back up to the top row. I whispered, "We need to leave." She nodded. We grabbed our stuff and slipped out quietly. As we exited the theater and went down the hallway toward the lobby, I glanced back through the glass window in the theater door. He was standing in the aisle now. He wasn't watching the screen. He was just standing there, still staring at us. We went straight to the front and told the concession guy that someone was acting really weird in Theater 6. His smile faded instantly, and he said, "Again? What do you mean, again?"
Again, so he knows. He knows this individual. Oh, wow. What a rat snake. You put our lives in jeopardy. Oh.
I said, and he hesitated, then said, "He's been coming in randomly for like a month. Always late shows and never buys anything. You guys aren't the first ones to complain about him." I responded, "Why hasn't anyone kicked him out?" He looked uncomfortable. He said, "He doesn't technically do anything illegal. Management says unless he touches someone or breaks a rule, we can't really do much."
Oh, management is dog water. Management needs to go to jail along with that dude.
Emily was almost in tears. She asked if someone could walk us to our car. He agreed, and one of the janitors walked us out.
Wow, that's sad. That's how you know she's not safe with you, bro. Dude, you missed your opportunity. She's asking another man. She's asking someone else to walk her out. She didn't say, let's leave. She's protected when you wrap your hands around her, bro. None of that. She's asking another person for protection. Yeah, you have some work you need to do. There's a lot of work that needs to be done with you, bro. Crazy.
The guy didn't follow us that night. At least, not that we saw. But the whole ride back, I couldn't shake this fear that he might have written down my license plate, that he might have followed us at a distance,
Probably.
watched us leave, and found out where Emily lived when I dropped her off. For weeks afterward, I was paranoid. My cop friend also told me it was a load of horseshit that they couldn't do anything about him. The theater as a business would reserve every right to kick somebody out.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
avoided that side of town for a while. Emily and I talked a few times after that, but never ended up seeing each other again, unfortunately.
Of course. She doesn't feel protected around you, bro. You failed. You failed your mission. That's tough.
Fortunately, I think we were both too shaken from what happened.
No, yeah.
I have not been back to that theater since, though I don't see any reviews on the website about the guy. I wonder just how many people have actually had the same experience.
A lot. And a lot done none. You could have been the first, bro. You could have been the first to not only leave the premise, but call the police. As soon as you tell the concession person that they haven't done anything, call the police immediately. You ain't doing nothing? I'ma do something. Oh, she will love you a long time. She will love you forever. Bro, she could be like, yeah, this dude is strong, mysterious, and he gets the job done. Oh man, that's crazy. Anywho, thank you guys for showing up, you feel me, once again with another video. God bless you guys. Don't be like this individual. Do not be like that last guy. No. I'll catch you guys later. Take care. God bless. Stay safe out there. Have a great summer, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.
You win. Perfect.